Hi, my name is Sylvia. I'm passionate about languages, English in particular. Welcome to my world of English. Hey, hi, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. The World of English podcast is here. With pleasure, I will present to you another subject. The name that we can give to this subject is how much of English grammar do I really need? I know that you devote so much time studying English. You spend so much time studying English grammar. Very often you are unsuccessful with that. It stops you from speaking, from building proper sentences, from entering proper communication in the language. And this feeling of failure, the feeling of being unsuccessful, it stops you from studying further, from studying more. And this feeling very often stops you from studying English at all. And you make the decision that you've been trying so hard, you've been studying the language for so much time, you are unsuccessful, so you are not going to do this. What we present here is the very, very practical approach. And with this recording, I want to talk to you about a practical way of studying English, a practical way that will let you speak the very language, that will take away the fear from you, and that will build in you this feeling that you will be successful, that you will manage, that you can do it. Remember, the linguistic talent, we know it now because there has been a lot of research into the subject. And this talent, the linguistic talent, is a myth. It is a myth in the sense that everybody can learn, everybody is able to communicate in the English language. You just need to know how to do that. And with this recording, I'm going to tell you how to do that. So coming back to the very subject, to the title, I will try with this recording to stop, to break the incorrect way of thinking, to change your approach. And if you implement this approach, you will get more time for real studying. And you will stop studying things that you don't need to, because you don't need all the grammar that is there in the box if you want to communicate in the English language. You will start thinking in a more practical way. You will gain the real skill of speaking the language. What you have to start with, what you have to remember all the time, or what you have to have at the back of your mind whenever you want to practice speaking in English, is that you study the language through contact, through relations, through emotions, through people, rather than through the books. Of course, books are there to help you. And with all the applications, with all the ebooks, with all the books, definitely it will be easier for you to study the language. But the things I have just mentioned, they are just something that you can add to the process. But at the end of the day, at the end of any attempt to study words, to study expressions, idioms, and grammar, you have to say it. I mean, build a proper sentence, preferably to somebody who will understand you and who will react to what you say. Because if you just rely on writing things on a piece of paper, on doing exercises in the book, filling in the gaps, if you rely only on repeating any phrase in a sentence that you have learned, that you have found in a book, in a film, and you just keep repeating that silently in your mind, this will not make you speak English. Because at the end of the day, let me repeat it, that once more, you have to say it very physically. Your face, the muscles on your face have to do the job. So much time is devoted to grammar, and I think that it is too much time that is devoted to grammar. Today, I will concentrate on the B2 level of the language, of the English language, because I think that the B2 level is this level which will let you speak English with confidence. It will let you communicate in English at your working place, in offices, abroad. You will be able to negotiate, to get to know new people, enter conversations, enter any relations with other people who are non-Polish speaking people. That is, they are the ones that speak English. So if you want to feel confident, and also if you want to make a very good impression at any interview or any examination, of course, examinations are not a thing that we want to do, in the sense that the goal that we have there, it should be speaking the language and not taking an examination, preferably passing it. Of course, you will pass an exam if you speak the language, but sometimes, unfortunately, what happens is vice versa, because oftentimes I have experienced that, I've seen that there are people who will take the exam, they will pass the exam, but they will not necessarily speak the language. So what we want is, we want to speak the language, and if we want it, we will take an exam. So if you want to make this a great impression, if you decide to take any examination at the B2 level, you have to know and you have to use 4 basic tenses. That is, you have to know how to talk about the present, how to talk about the past, and how to talk about the future. I said 4 because in the present tense, we have 2 present tenses, that is present simple and present continuous. In the past, we have past simple, and in the future, we have future simple. I'm going to give you examples with these tenses, just to refresh your memory a little bit, and I will try to prove it to you, and I will try to show it to you that these tenses indeed are enough if you want to talk about all the activities that happen in your life. Let me repeat it once again. Of course, there are other tenses, and the more the better. If you know them more, and if you apply them in your everyday speech, this is even better. But if you think about this process of studying the language, and if you want to plan your activities, really, you need to concentrate on these 4 tenses, and you will be fine. So you will be able to go through the day with the English language, and you will get this feeling that you are goal-oriented. I mean, that you are delivering the goal that you have there. I mean, you communicate with people. So, present simple refers to all the regular activities, repeated activities that are there, that you perform at home, that you perform at university, that you perform in the office. Sentence examples can be as follows. For instance, I drink a cup of coffee with milk in the morning. Every day I go through the email list once I get to the office. I work 8-10 hours a day. I have a few video calls on a regular basis. And for instance, I don't commute to work because I work from home, and this is what I enjoy. So here you have a couple of sentence examples in the present simple tense. Then a few examples in the present continuous tense. Every tense that is called continuous, please remember, refers to the activities that are happening at a given moment in time. If we want to use the present continuous tense, of course, it refers to the activities that are happening in the present, but they are not something regular, but they are just happening around now or happening at the moment of speaking. So this week I am very busy because we are working on a very important project, and so I am finishing work later than usual. When we want to talk about some private activities, we can say that we are reading a very interesting book, or that we are watching a very interesting series, or that we are devoting more time, for instance, to family, because last week we couldn't do it because we were busy at work. Past simple. Why is past simple so important? I am disregarding a little bit past continuous. Of course, if you know how to use it, if you feel confident, just do it. But if you don't know how to use the past continuous tense, you can rely on past simple. It is all fine. But there is this theory. And with this theory, I hope I will prove to you why past simple is so important, because there is this theory that we actually should start studying the language, the English language, with past simple, not present simple, not present continuous, but past simple, because past simple opens this door to any story. With past simple, we can produce different stories that happened to us, and these stories will be different every time. With the present simple and the routine activities and the repeated activities, it is not possible, because as the very name suggests, it is repeated. So it happens, the same activities happen. Here, you can talk about anything that happened to you in the past, yesterday, a week ago, last weekend, last month, last year. And sentence examples here can be as follows. So last weekend was great. We went for a walk, for a long walk. We had a fantastic time together. I mean, together with my family. We met friends for dinner. And I finally had time to finish the book that I had started a few weeks before. So this is about your private life. When it comes to your professional life, you can say that you finished the project, or that you wrote a couple of emails to your clients, to your colleagues, or that you carried out a very successful presentation at a meeting last Friday, for instance. So this covers the storyline of present and past. And when it comes to the future, I mentioned the tense simple, future simple, where you just add the little will to the word, and this is how you go. You talk about the activities that you will do in the future. So tomorrow I will go to the cinema. Tomorrow I will have a very important meeting with my client. Next week I will travel to Warsaw for a great conference. And next month I will talk to my boss about a very important issue. There are some people who will say that will is not enough to talk about the future, and I am nodding right now, meaning that is true, because you can talk about the future with using other structure, and this other structure is present continuous indeed. So if you know that there is this planned activity that you know that you are doing the next day, you will use exactly the present continuous. And if you translate the expression straight into Polish, you will see that we use exactly the same structure in the Polish language as we use that in the English language. So if you want to talk about the travel plans, and if you want to talk about the meeting plans, you will use the present continuous as follows in the examples. I'm meeting an important client. I'm meeting my friends for dinner. I'm traveling to London next week, and I'm going on holiday finally with my family. Present, past, future. If you know how to do that, you are really confident in the English language. But let's move on, because I told you that we are going to discuss today the B2 level grammar. So B2 level is a little bit more than just a couple of tenses. And there are three other structures that I would like to cover today. The structures that, as I said, will make a very good impression on your interlocutors as you are presenting something, as you are taking part in a video call, in any presentation, in any interview, or as you are going, for instance, to take any examination. So it'll make a very, very good impression on the examiners. So the three other structures are modal verbs, conditionals, and passive. Modal verbs work the same way as they do in the Polish language, because they will describe the activities that are true in the present and that were true in the past, or you can use them for speculation in the present and for speculation in the past. I guess we all know the modal verbs that are there. So it's can or could, may, might, should, and ought to. Ought to is the same expression that it has the same meaning, just like should, but it is used not so often, perhaps. And we have also will and would. If I am to give you the examples to talk about the actual activities that happen in the present and that happened in the past with the usage of modal verbs, that would be, for instance, I can speak English, the simplest way, or I can ride a bike, or he can drive a car. And for the past is he could ride a bike when he was 5. He could drive a car when he was 20. And I could speak English when I was 15 years old. When it comes to speculation, we do exactly the same thing in Polish as we do in English. And the speculation for the present might be, there you go. Even in this example, you have the speculation. So this speculation might be as follows. Somebody's knocking the door. You stand up and you say, oh, that'll be Uncle Tom. That will be Uncle Tom, because you know that he is going to come and visit you. Or you might say, that might be Uncle Tom, because you are suspecting, you are predicting that this is him, but you are not sure. With the speculation in the past, we practiced the speculation, even in this podcast a few times before. All you have to do is you have to add have to the verb, because in this way you make the structure, the sentence that you are building, you make it sound past. Because if you just leave the verb as it is, go, eat, take, buy, you will make a speculation for the present. Yeah, so that might be Uncle Tom. But if you put the be into the past with have, the sentence you will produce is that might have been Uncle Tom. So the situation might be as follows. So you were sitting at home alone. Somebody knocked the door. You didn't manage to open. Somebody left. But then you make the speculation and you say that might have been Uncle Tom. So you are not sure, but you predict it might have been him. I will come back for a sec to the present with the word should also, because the modal verb should is used very often when we talk about the English language and studying the English language. It produces the regrets that you have, all the regrets that are there about studying English. So speculation for the present would be, I should study more because I don't do it, and I don't do much, I don't study much. Or the speculation for the past is, I should have studied English when I was at school. I hear it often. You say it very often. I should have studied English when I was at school, but I didn't do it. Let me now go to the two other structures that are left. I mean, conditionals and passive. There are a few conditionals. I hesitated, but yeah, there are a few conditionals. There is zero, there is first, there is second, third, and there are mixed conditionals. Again, it sounds very scary, but it usually sounds scarier than it really is, because the zero conditional is so simple. So it's present simple. You really shouldn't worry about that. But there are the two other conditionals I want to practice. I want to revise with you, and that would be the first conditional when you talk about a simple condition. Mind you, this is the name of the grammar part. It is called conditional, a conditional, because there is a condition. So if something happens, even if we want to put the future form, we know we are not allowed. So if something happens, something else will happen. So if the weather is fine, we will go for a walk. If the client comes on time, we will have enough time to talk about the issue, the subject. If our project wins, we will all celebrate in the afternoon. There is yet the second conditional. The second conditional works the same way, just like the same structures in the Polish language, because we use the past to talk about speculation. If I had more time, if I were you, if I lived in another place, but I don't have this time, I'm not you, and I don't live in another place, I would meet you more often. I wouldn't do that. I would be happier. So you talk about a situation that is there, that isn't there, and that is just hypothetical. And when we think about third conditional, it works exactly the same way, just like models in the past, speculation in the past that we discussed just a while ago. So I should have done that. I might have done that. I could have done that. And if I had studied English in the past, I would have spoken it 5 years ago. So it is the same thing. I want you, as you study the language, see it all. I want you to have access to the whole language, because as you are speaking, as you keep producing the expressions, you need to feel confident, and your brain cannot panic. It will start panicking if you just think about all these structures as something different, separate, difficult, as something that is not connected. No, the things are connected. So modal verbs and conditionals are connected. And passive. Why passive? Passive is there because passive is used more often in the English language than in Polish. Maybe not so much in speaking, in everyday communication, but we know that there are some expressions used in everyday communication that have the passive form in English, and we would never use that in Polish. So I was told, I have been informed, I have been given, I was born. This is a passive activity because we weren't born ourselves. Somebody did that for us, and that's why it is passive. But passive is used in English. It is used more often in formal context, in writing, in research papers, in any articles that you have access to. And it works this way, that you only have to worry about the be form. So you have to change the form, and you have to make it acceptable for different tenses. I am, I was, I will be, it has been, we have been. And then you just leave the verb with the action in the past participle form. And that's it. And it is that simple. I hope you have followed me. I will repeat everything I have just said, that for speaking good English at the B2 level, you need just a few structures in the English language. So you need 4 basic tenses, you need modal verbs, you need conditionals, you need passive, and you will make a great impression on anybody, and you will feel confident. Just trust me.